Hello and welcome to Let's Talk Sports. I am Ralph Labella.
And I'm Ron Sen. 10,000 men of Harvard won victory today, and the noted basketball factory, of which I am an alum, hammered Cincinnati today 61-57 to advance to the second round.
Yeah, and I was telling everybody here early this morning, I said, watch out for Cincinnati.
Well, I had heard that Cincinnati doesn't shoot the ball really well, which looked to be the case. The problem for Harvard is Saturday they'll face Michigan State, one of the top rebounding teams in the universe, and they're not going to have the same outcome against the Spartans.
Michigan State's healthy now. A lot of people are picking Michigan State to win it. Michigan State was rated #1 in the country.
Michigan State's terrific.
Until they had all those injuries. Now they're back healthy, and they're going to be real tough.
Well, they have a great coach in Tom Izzo. They have a wonderful system. Izzo teaches rebounding the following. He gets the players into football helmets and shoulder pads, and then they have rebounding practice.
Yeah.
So they're not afraid to get after it because they're not going to get hurt.
But there's going to be some great matchups. You may have Kentucky matched up against, what's it, Wichita State? No, what is it?
That could be because Kentucky was a 9, I think.
Yeah, they can get matched up, and then Louisville can get matched up with one of those two teams. I mean, in the second and third rounds, you're going to see some great matchups.
March Madness always gives you great games, great upsets. I wasn't in the Warren Buffett billion-dollar bracket. I'd be out because Dayton beat Ohio State.
Everybody was
60-59, and you know there was all this talk before the tournament. Duke coach Mike Krzyzewski said the Atlantic 10 didn't deserve 6 teams in the playoff. You know, ACC is much better conference, and then Dayton wipes out Ohio State in the first round.
Yeah, but he came out and said that.
Yeah.
The ACC's not that strong either. I mean, they got Syracuse in it now. Syracuse ended up, losing, what was it, 5 games out of 8 at the end of the year.
They had a tough ending.
I mean, that league's not, well, North Carolina came on pretty good, and you have Virginia.
Another local team that's doing really well are the Tufts Jumbos, the women's team in Division III, which is in the Women's 3 Final Four. They're playing against FDU Florham. I don't know who they are, but Coach Carla Berrubi's got her team to the NCAA's 5 of the last 6 years. Team's 30-1. They were second, I believe, in points allowed in Division III with 49 points a game, and they allowed a measly 12 turnovers a game. Now, for those who don't know, Carla Berrubi was a sophomore on the 1995 team that was the first UConn team to win a national championship with Coach Gino Auriemma. She hit a couple of late free throws to ice the game. And they asked her kind of how things are now. And she says, oh, it's a lot more stressful to be a coach than a player. Player, you just go out there and play. When you're the coach, you're responsible for everything.
Yeah, she played Rosati, right?
Yeah.
Jen Rosati. But you're forgetting the team that's better than them, Bentley. They're still undefeated. I think they're in the Final 8 right now.
I think they're Division II, though.
They're Division II.
Right. And then for other March Madness fans in hockey, Reading boys won the state Division I hockey tournament. Obviously, that's separate from the Super 8 tournament, but shout out to them. They defeated Melrose in the postseason. Another terrific team. Yeah,
Dr. Sen was threatened, as they say.
No, I was in a local restaurant, and a person from Reading said, we need a shout out on your show. So there it is.
Yeah, they said if you want people from Reading to keep watching your show, you better make a shout out to. Well, listen, Reading has unbelievable. I mean, athletics there. They're very successful in a lot of sports.
They have great facilities. They obviously have a lot of great coaches. As we talked about before, they have a very high number of coaches certified under the MIAA program, whatever that means, and they have terrific youth programs. And we would do well to be able to reach the level of Reading across the board.
Right. I mean, they're just so good, and they have a lot of star basketball players that are playing in college now.
Right. Olivia Healy went to Richmond. Unfortunately, she injured her ACL. So I don't know if I guess she'll have to take next season off probably.
Yeah, she was having a good year too, and it's a shame. But maybe they'll redshirt her. Who knows? I don't know how many games she played.
Right.
But how about the star player from Melrose, Hannah Brickley?
Hannah Brickley in the NESCAC was the league MVP. Hannah didn't play for 2 years, so she played volleyball. And as many of you know, she's also one of the top students in her class, and she'll be graduating this year. So kudos to Hannah, and of course, congratulations to her family.
And she went up against people, I don't know how many people realize this, Baptista is the senior at Bentley's, a star. Hannah went up against her at the Garden when Melrose played, when they played Oliver Ames, and Hannah outplayed her. She outplayed Batista in that game, and then Hannah decided she wanted to play. Great volleyball player at Trinity, played volleyball, plays 2 years of basketball, and gets some all-league awards. So she's probably one of the top 2 or 3 female athletes to ever play at Melrose High.
Right. In the hierarchy of importance, you have ideas, things, and people. Now, of course, in sports talk shows, usually ends up being people that we talk about more than ideas. For example, the National Football League is having their meetings to propose rule changes. And there are a lot of potential rule changes ranging from moving the kickoff to the 40-yard line, which I don't even, why bother? If you move it to the 40, everybody's going to kick everything out of the end zone. The Patriots had several recommendations. The first one, which will never go through, is they want coaches' challenges to be allowed to challenge anything that occurs on the field within the scope of the number of challenges allowed. Also, they wanted the goalposts extended 5 feet higher because they say sometimes the ball goes over the goalpost and the officials don't really know what to do. They make a call, but it may not be the right one. They also wanted the cameras stationed along the boundaries permanently, so there'd be an end zone line camera and a sideline camera, so that there'd be better replay angles in those ways. And finally, they recommended that the point after touchdown be moved out to the 25-yard line, so that an extra point wouldn't be automatic anymore. It'd be 42 yards.
What if you want to go for 2 points?
Well, I think then you have to go from 2 for 2.
No, you go from the 3-yard line, I would imagine. Why would they
I don't
change
know.
that? You'd have to declare we're going for 2, and you'd still go from the 2.5-yard line or whatever, but you wouldn't move them back to the 25.
Yeah, I guess you'd never be able to go
No,
for 2
you
then.
would never go unless it's the end of the game and you need it to tie the game.
Then there were some other proposals from other teams, such as increasing the roster to 49 from 46 players on game day, as well as on Thursday night games, for example, right after you played the previous Sunday, expanding the rosters by 3 players. And then the National Football League, of course, wants the teams to play 18 games instead of 16. The Players Union says that is not happening because of safety and injuries.
Yeah, if they do the 18 games, what are they going to have, 2 scrimmages?
Yeah, they'd have 2 preseason games.
So it's basically, I don't know how you're going to figure it out. I mean, you need to give these players, especially these young players, time to look at them. You're only going to look at them 2 games. Those are going to become important games, those 2 scrimmages, if you're playing the 18
Right.
games.
In a lot of ways, sports is much like business in that your success depends on your execution. That is your total process. And your process depends on people, not only management, but your employees at all levels, the strategy that you employ, and ultimately the operational day-to-day activities. And you'll notice that the teams and programs, whether it's Melrose Volleyball or the Miami Heat, are successful because of those 3 factors: people, strategy, and operations. And when you're failing, you have to ask yourself, why are we failing? Most times, people will say, well, it's not the people, it's everything but the people. We have great people, we have great leadership, everything's wonderful.
Well, in pro sports, you know they care, number one.
Right.
You know they care. They're doing the best they can to get better and improve. Not so in youth sports. All depends who you have coaching. Do you have a coach who wants to give 100%? Or you have a coach who's there whose daughter or son is playing? He's there, doesn't know the game that well, doesn't really know how to work with them to improve, gets them to practice, okay, we'll go over these drills and these drills, but they're not looking at players and saying, okay, this player to develop has to learn better skills here. I mean, there's not enough, I don't think there's not enough youth coaches that really care. Well, the best way to explain it, youth basketball, how many teams play zones?
A lot.
And there are a lot of teams that play zones. So to me, those coaches that play zones, they don't care. They don't care in developing their players. All they care about is winning and making it easier for themselves. Because, I mean, you can see it. You're not teaching them how to play defense. You're not teaching them how to play help defense at all, team defense. You're not teaching them how to pressure the ball, how to anticipate. I mean, in zones, what are you doing? You're just going back and forth with the ball. There is some anticipation with the real good players. But those coaches don't care enough.
Well, for teaching great man-to-man defense, man-to-man defense has maximal pressure on the ball and good help away from the ball, so it looks like man-to-man on the ball and zone defense away from the ball. In good zone defense, they have pressure on the ball, so it looks like man-to-man on the ball, and it's help away from the ball. So really, the principles are very similar when they're both played right, but you're right. A lot of teams just say, okay, we're coaching against 5th to 6th graders. These kids can't shoot outside, so we'll play 2-3 zone.
And either the coaches are lazy or they just want to win so much that they don't care enough about helping their players become better players. You know, we see it all the time, and it's really a disgrace, and especially with the youth sports. In high school, you're there to win, okay? But in youth sports, you're there to teach. And either the coaches don't want to teach, they don't want to waste their time teaching, so that means they don't care, or they want to win too much.
But we'd be remiss in not saying that no matter what organization you're in, great organizations have great relationships between and among their people. So I'm sure that the Patriots, they have great coaches at every level. The ownership has a close relationship to the coaches. The assistant coaches, you know, work very closely with the players. The players in the practice squad are getting tips from the veterans. It's really about relationships. Not to say that relationships won't break down under those circumstances.
But where does that all come from, though, Ron? It comes from respect. You know, the players respect Coach Belichick. They respect him. There are a lot of coaches in the NFL where the players don't respect them. That's why those teams break down. You know, even if things don't go well for the Patriots, they have injuries or whatever, they respect him and they're going to all work. They're all on the same page. That's not so on every team. And you see, that's what you see in sports. The respect factor, and it's just not there. You see that in high school, you see it in college, you see it in pro sports. But the teams that are consistently good, like the Patriots, you know, Brady and Belichick, they both respect each other. The players do respect Brady, the leaders, and that's why they're successful. It's that simple.
Well, and that segues me into this week's hire of the week, which is Phil Jackson, he of 11 rings, to the New York Knicks. Now, Jackson is going to be a special management position with the Knicks, who haven't won a championship in 41 long years, since the days of Willis Reed. But Jackson's getting paid $12 million a year to be a consultant. Is that going to be really worth the money in a league that is a players' league?
Well, we were just talking about respect. You know, the Knicks need that respect factor. Everybody respects Jackson. They got Jackson. That's the name. The name alone is worth millions of dollars. I don't know if it's worth $12 million, but you can see the Knicks already playing better. That's only going to go so far, though. They need the players. But that may keep Anthony with the Knicks, you know, and if he makes a couple of other moves, but they don't even have a number 1 draft pick this year. They lost that. So I don't know how they're going to get better.
Well, and unfortunately for the Celtics, it gets down to tanks for the memories. Last night, the Celtics ridiculously beat the Heat without LeBron James. The Celtics now are, I think, tied for 6th in the playoff ranking. And if you're in the top 3, you have a great chance of getting something in the top 3, almost 50%. Once you fall out of the top 3, you're
20-something%.
Yeah, your chances fall off a lot. The number 1 bad team currently, Milwaukee, and I can't, even no matter how hard Philadelphia tries, I don't think they'll be able to catch Milwaukee. They would have a 25.5% chance of getting the top choice. Philadelphia, I think, is 2nd. They're at about 19%. Orlando is 3rd, around 15, and the 4th place team is, I think, the Lakers are tied with somebody else.
Yeah, forget the Celtics. The Celtics will not be. I mean, they could always get the number 1 pick.
They're playing too hard. They're playing too hard.
No, the thing is, there's too many teams that are worse than them, and the Celtics are just. Well, I mean, there's no way the Celtics can get any lower.
The bottom 5 teams of their last 50 games, that is the last 10 games for those 5 teams, they've won 8. So, you know, some of these teams, they're just totally not even trying anymore.
Yeah, but the coaches and Ainge really blew it. I mean, they really blew their chance because he could have done something. He could have, like I said, all right, you're not going to, Ainge felt he wasn't going to get enough for Rondo. You know, he was injured, just got back. You know, all right, if he wasn't going to get anybody who could start on that team, then you're not going to make the deal, you're going to wait. But they had other players like Bass and all those other players. Now, you know, you trade those guys, And of course, you're going to lose more games, especially Green. Green's a guy. Green, you don't want him on your team if you're going to be great. You don't want a guy like Green. He's going to be great one game and then inconsistent next game and not have a good game, and then he's going to pout. He never smiles, the guy. He's never in the game.
The question is, are they going to try to go forward with young players and develop them, or are they going to get some 5 or 6 year veterans and try to develop them? That seems like nutty to me. I don't think that can work.
But how could you make this decision? How does Bass play 30 minutes last night and Olnick play 19? How's that happening? And Green's playing 38 minutes and Olnick's playing 14 minutes in one game.
Well, obviously, Ainge is
He should be playing 35 minutes a game.
Ainge is letting them try to win, however they feel they should best do that.
But your rookie who's got talent, when you want to bring him along more than 20 minutes a game?
Absolutely. But then you're always stepping on somebody else's toes.
You step on their toes. Just lose some games, for crying out loud.
It's true. It's what's called cognitive dissonance. You watch the game, you want the Celtics to play well, but you want them to lose because it's more important to get a better draft choice.
No, I don't even want them to play well. I want them to stink and get blown out every game. I mean, people realize the difference between Parker and Wiggins playing on that team, and having Rondo lead that team for the next 8 years.
We can always hope for the 1993 scenario where the Orlando Magic had a 1.5% chance of getting the #1 draft choice, and they still got it and got Chris Webber. I remember the year that Patrick Ewing was coming out. They had those envelopes up there that were supposedly unmarked envelopes. I swear the Knicks envelope had a little, turned up corner that somebody picked, to give the Knicks the first-round draft choice, so they got Patrick Ewing.
Yeah, last week I won the pool and work. I had 40 people in it. I won it. So that's what, 2.5% chance?
That's right.
And I ended up winning, so maybe the Celtics will win it.
The big Celtics news today, Chris Babb was signed on for a multi-year contract, the 12th player on the team or the 15th player on the team. There's even a name for the Babbs and Chris Johnsons of the league now. They call it the 3 and D. These are guys from the developmental league who play some defense, bring energy, and can make three-point shots. It's kind of unbelievable that they have a specialty term for minor leaguers.
Well, Sabathia always had the reputation of big rear end, big guy, big rear end, and how does he pitch and like that. You talk about it. How about Sullinger? He's getting bigger and bigger. What is wrong with him? You talk about a guy, I was really high on him, but how much can he care if he's carrying all that weight?
He's obviously on the Glenn Davis diet.
Jesus. I watched him the other day running up and down the court.
Well, I think we agree. We'd like to see Rondo gone. Bring in another point guard, younger player. I don't think the demand for Rondo is going to be nearly as high as Rondo thinks it is. He has some good games, but I just don't like his game that much.
Well, it comes down to Ainge doesn't want him, but he can't get anybody from him, so he's still in the team. Ainge doesn't want him.
Probably the simple answer. They've got a bunch of guys like that. Bass, Green, Humphreys, Rondo.
How about yesterday, right, in the game? They say, the two guards were tremendous. Bradley had 6 3-pointers, and Rondo played great, hit those 2 floaters. He had 9 points. I think he was 4 for 14. He hit the 2 floaters at the end. He almost had a triple-double, they said. He had 15 assists and 8 rebounds. I'm getting sick of people saying Rondo's unbelievable. He gets 15 assists, 12 assists. He's great with the ball. He has the ball in his hands every possession. He has the ball in his hands. And if he passes it, if that guy doesn't take the shot, he runs to the ball and gets the ball again. And he passes it. I would get 20 assists on that team.
I'll do what I can to take care of it. My brother-in-law rode crew with Wick Grousbeck at Princeton, so I'll try to pass that message along.
It's amazing when people say he's great, he's got all those assists. Well, he handles the ball the whole game.
We'll be right back. Welcome back to tonight's sports conversation. As a special guest, we have Melrose Lady Raider hockey goalie and lacrosse goalie, Anna Kleis. We have heard a great miscarriage of justice that she didn't get any postseason awards from the Middlesex League, and we'll do what we can to rectify that.
Welcome, Anna.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Tell us a little bit about lacrosse, since that's the season you're in right now.
Well, we just picked the teams today, and it's actually looking pretty good. I mean, we have like a lot of young players, but they're very skilled and developed. So, and I'm just excited to be goalie and be able to compete again.
Now, you're one of the captains on the team?
No,
No. How many captains do they have?
3.
And you've been the goalie how many years?
I played out freshman year. I was the goalie sophomore year. I took the year off last year, and then I'm back again this year. So this would be my second year.
Does it seem very different because in hockey, obviously, you use a lot of the glove hand, whereas in
Yeah.
lacrosse, can you use the glove hand to stop?
No,
You have to use the net.
it's all the stick. Yeah,
Looks like a fishing net.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, what I noticed in lacrosse, the goalies in lacrosse, it's really tough to move because the ball's coming so hard. So you see that difference? Because I see you in hockey. You're amazingly quick in hockey.
Oh, thank you.
And then in lacrosse, I mean, it's all about the ball coming at you like, what is it, 60, 70 miles an hour sometimes?
Probably, yeah. It's just the key is I've noticed to follow their stick, and wherever their stick goes, you just have to react.
So it's positioning yourself.
Yeah,
in
yeah, and just get a body part in front of the ball.
Now, what padding do you have when you're playing goal for lacrosse?
We have these thin shin guards, these padded pants, not like my hockey pants, like at all, just like they're pretty thin compared to my hockey pants actually. This chest protector, gloves, and a helmet, and then your stick.
How long you been playing lacrosse?
Off and on since 5th grade.
Fifth
so,
grade you
yeah.
started?
So there's no elbow pads.
No arm pads.
You
just-
can't, I mean, is it allowed if you had extra pads or just not allowed?
I don't know. I haven't asked my coach about that, but I kind of want to.
Would you rather see it more physical like the boys? Because there's always whistles. But when I'm there at the
Yeah.
games, I do the games, and it seems like the whistle's blown just about every 10 seconds
Yeah.
almost.
Yeah, because
Safety.
because girls lacrosse is just basically a no contact sport. I mean, I don't know if I'd like to see it more like the boys. It's nice because it's all based on skill, like just like girls hockey, how you can't check. It's all based on skill, so I kind of like that.
You like that better?
Now, the goalie can come out of the net and participate on offense if they want. Do you have any team philosophy on that? If the coach says, no, don't go over the midline or whatever?
I've never tried anything like that. I mean, I don't know. I probably could take a risk and do it, but I don't know.
Now, are you a lacrosse goalie because you were a hockey goalie? Is that what made you?
Yeah, yeah, pretty much.
Does it help you being a hockey goalie?
They're like completely two different
So the
sports.
angles are different and all that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, how much contact can there be with the goalie? Or if there's somebody right in your goal area, can you kind of push them out of the way?
No, I would get a penalty or a foul or whatever they call it.
But I saw you in one game last year. I don't know if it was Winchester, where they were all over you. You were having a tough time getting rid of the ball, even when you got the ball. You made
Yeah.
a save.
Even when I'm in my crease too.
Yeah, there was one game where they really gave you. They were all over you, but
Yeah.
they can do that. They must be able to.
Yeah, just like I could do that to them if I like stepped out of my crease. They can do that to me while I'm in my crease. They can just have their sticks up.
And they were very good at it.
Yeah.
Okay. Day to day at practice, what skills or drills do you have to try to improve your goaltending efficiency?
We do just like warming up drills to start, just shooting at like the 4 corners and the 5-hole, just like in hockey, I mean, but the net's a lot bigger. And I do a lot of warming up and then just like basically shooting drills. That's the only way you can get better is to just keep taking shots and just keep like trying and not getting down.
Now, are you comfortable with your team's defensive sets, how they play back and they don't try to take them earlier? I notice a lot of the real
Yeah.
good teams will try to pick them up earlier to make it difficult for the team to advance, where your coach's philosophy is to keep your defense back,
Yeah.
but they're coming at the defense full speed. And
Yeah.
what do you think about that part of the game?
I think like just like in hockey, you should attack the players before they get over the red line. To be honest, or in the neutral zone or in midfield. because when you back up too far, everyone just scrambles and it just ends up being a goal.
And you can't double
sometimes.
team there either.
Yeah, not really.
Well, there's a
so.
certain amount of time you have to get the shot off, right?
I think so, yeah.
So probably if you engage the player farther out, it makes it
Well, that's-
time pressure for them to get the
Yeah.
desired shot.
I think
Yeah.
that's only a pro lacrosse where there's a time, right? I don't know if there's a clock in
I'm not
high
sure.
school.
I don't know.
Yeah.
No, there isn't.
I don't think
Because
so,
I see
yeah.
them just going back and forth, passing the ball
Yeah.
for like 2 minutes. I saw a game last year with
Mm-hmm.
a team. You had a great game going. I don't know if it was Wilmington. It was just a great game. Then at the end of the game, Wilmington started stalling, and
Uh-huh.
they were going back and forth with the passing, and they weren't attacking.
Yeah.
And it really killed the game because it was a tremendous game up until that point.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't think there is a clock.
All right. Well, let's switch gears and go back to hockey.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the girls had a wonderful season as the first year as an independent team.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about your impressions of this year's team.
We were definitely a really young team. I mean, there's 3 seniors, 3 juniors, a couple sophomores, and the rest were freshmen and 8th graders. So we definitely had room for improvement, but I think we stepped up to the plate, I guess. And it was really fun. I wouldn't have traded it for anything, to be honest.
You talk about it being important to be the captain on that team,
Mm-hmm.
the first team, independent team with those young players. That must have been a thrill for you because they
Yeah.
must have looked up to you 3 girls.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Did you have a lot of like pasta parties and stuff?
Yeah. Oh yeah, we had too many.
How were
I
the
think.
girls in the big matches, the younger girls? I mean, how were they? Because they were tremendous. They've won a lot of state titles. That
Yeah.
year.
Yeah, and I think that's what we had to distinguish youth hockey from high school hockey for them, like the competitiveness. But I think they were nervous the first couple games, but they definitely stepped up and did really well.
Well, I think, for example, in the Reading game, the team was visibly nervous the first period and got behind 2-0, and
Yeah.
then really outplayed Reading the rest of the way.
Yeah.
But I think it was just nerves more than talent.
Yeah.
How were you girls after the Methuen game where you had 5 penalties and Methuen didn't have any up there? We did that game and it was,
Yeah.
you know, I'm looking at a lot of the calls were tough again. You girls were
Yeah.
playing great hockey and then they called a couple of Borden penalties that Coach Rush wasn't happy with. But that was a great match.
That was a really good game. Yeah.
They had Conway. Is that the team that had Conway?
Yeah.
Was
You
she the
must-
best player you faced all season?
Probably.
You see that first move she made? You made the big save when it came up near your shoulder.
Yep.
That first move she made, Ron, she just exploded. Now, how often did the defense get beat all year? Not much.
Yeah,
Your
not
defense
much.
was very good.
Yeah.
You know, and she made a move. She went right by the defense, came
Yeah.
in right on you.
Yeah.
Stick handle came up and you moved your shoulder, but went off her shoulder out of play. When I saw that, I said, what a move. She was just great the whole game. But
She was,
then
yeah.
you adjusted pretty good, your team.
Yeah, we did. We had one of our 8th graders actually just shadow her, and that girl didn't get the puck for the rest of the game. I mean, she didn't get a good scoring opportunity for the rest of the game.
Now, did they have stats on how many saves? I mean, you had to lead the league in saves.
Oh.
You had to. Did they have stats?
They did have stats. I've checked on the website, but it's only for like half my games, I think. So it's not completely accurate, but
I remember one game where she had 8 saves in the first 2 or 3 minutes.
Now, what age did you start playing hockey?
9.
And was it as a goalie?
Yeah.
So you played goalie for a long time.
Yeah.
Now, off season, what is the off season? Sometimes there isn't any off season.
Yeah. Usually in like the spring, I don't know, I'd pick up, when I did selects, we had like half in the beginning of the year and then half, like we had high school and then half at like March, April. And then I usually play in the summer. So that was good. It was the North Shore Girls Hockey League in Stoneham. And that's basically what I do in my off season. And I just train. I mean, I work out and stuff.
So how many hockey games do you think you'd play over a course of a year? Every league?
I don't, with high school, it's less. With youth hockey, it was way more. It was like 80 games. With high school, maybe it's around 80 with all the extra stuff.
Now,
Yeah.
what's the future look for you? I mean, are you going to be playing hockey? And
I would love to, yeah.
are you playing this? You playing now?
Not currently.
There's
no.
there's no select teams right now, are there?
No, and I wasn't on them in the fall, so. But there is a college league for the summer league that I play, so with all just college age girls. So I'm planning on playing in that.
And you'll have a lot
this
of
summer.
coaches watching you there, right?
Yeah. Mhm.
What colleges are you looking at?
I liked University of Massachusetts, Amherst, Salem State, UMass Lowell. I liked St. Anselm a lot. I applied to a lot of schools, but
St. Anselm's, I think that's where Eric Mercer's going now.
yeah,
He got
I
a full
heard
scholarship
that.
there.
Yeah.
He was going to be going to Wesleyan, and then it looked like Bentley's, but I heard that St. Anselm's came through with a full load for him in football. That's a real good. That whole
That's awesome.
league is real good.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, does Salem State have women's hockey?
Yeah, they have a club team right now, and in 2015 they're going D3, so they'll be in that ECAC league.
Now, what workouts do you do to get quicker?
I like to go on runs. I like that, and I do a lot of like agility. I use the tennis balls usually before games. Just like weight training and all that stuff, and maybe some footwork.
Now, what's your strength? Is there a strength as a goalie? I mean, I know you're really good with your pads. You made a lot of saves, kick-out saves with your pads.
Yeah, I'd say that's probably my strength. Yeah.
Well, that's
Well, I
Not
think you did a good job clearing the puck
Yeah.
out. There weren't not a lot of
No,
loose
right.
rebounds out in front that we didn't see much scoring off. From
now
those
that goal
rebounds.
that you were very, very upset about, but you made two great saves in that against Volo in the Lincoln-Sudbury game.
Yeah.
Your first save was a kick-out save, right? You came in on your all alone.
Yeah.
She made that move, and then you made another save on it. Wasn't that with your pad too?
I think I got a piece of it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think both of them with your pads.
Yeah.
Talk about, I've been harping on the ice conditions. I thought they were really deplorable for
Yeah.
a playoff game. What was your impression?
Yeah, the ice was really bad. It was just humid in the rink, and the ice, it was just, the puck wasn't sliding. It would just stop.
Was it the worst conditions of any game you played in this year?
Probably
Yeah,
one of the worst. Yeah,
I remember
I'd
when
say
Craig.
so.
I remember when Craig was going after a puck. Someone shot it in. I'd saying Craig's going. I says, well, it's going to get to the goalie. I mean,
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden it stopped, and
It just-
Craig's
yeah.
about 5 feet in front of the goalie, but the goalie just got there before Craig did.
Yeah.
But that's how bad the ice was that night.
Yeah.
Right, I told Anna that I had written to the MIAA complaining, and of course, naturally, I got no response, which is their normal routine.
But I'll tell you one thing, though. I absolutely loved it. I mean, with Dr. Sen and I are basketball guys. We've been involved in basketball for the last 15, 16 years. We never even went to a hockey game. And then last year we went to the boys' games.
Right.
The boys' games, and we said, wow, I mean, you talk about hockey.
Yeah.
And then when Jeff asked us to do your games,
Yeah.
I mean, I was shocked. That first Winchester game, even though you lost the game, to me
Yeah.
it was a great game. But no, it's a shame. Your classmates and the teachers or whatever, not many go to the games. They don't even see what's going on.
No.
Because you have to go there to really appreciate it. It's a little different on TV, but it's super fast. But what
Yeah.
really impressed me about it is not 1 second in the whole season did one player come out and not give 100%. Every play, every second they're out on that ice, they're giving 100%.
Yeah.
You have to in that type of hockey run.
Yeah.
I like this question, but it's really hard, so think carefully.
Okay.
If we were to give out awards, we would only give out one award to the best teammate as voted by the players with not setting up any criteria. So if you could pick not the best player, the most valuable player, it can be your best friend if you want, or it can be your worst enemy but a great teammate. Would you be able to say, gosh, I really like playing with so-and-so because?
Yeah, probably. Should I say who it is?
Yeah, sure.
I'd probably say Rachel DeFria, the 8th grader, because she just has so much potential. Like she's gonna be amazing.
Yeah.
She's in 8th grade and she's amazing.
They
now.
all came on so strong, the whole team.
Yeah.
You know who my if you had a player that didn't get the publicity that I think is going to be real good next year, and people wouldn't be talking about her, they probably talk about 10 players before her, is Henry.
Michelle, yeah.
Henry really, really impressed me in that last game against
Yeah.
Lincoln Sudbury. She didn't get that much playing time this year, but she's going to be a star next year.
Yeah.
She's going to be the surprise. I mean, we all know the players coming back, the real
Yeah.
good players. The defense is going to be great.
Yeah.
And, players, even McLaughlin's going to,
Yeah.
play good in that second line. And you had those. But Henry's going to be a star next year. I know.
she
Just
is,
seeing,
yeah.
she came out. It was like when I used to watch the Bruins, the old Bruins, you say clear the track, here comes Shaq. He'd come out and he'd go bombing down the ice
Yeah.
one way, come
Well,
back.
there's two,
That's how Henry was in that game.
Obviously,
Yeah.
there's two needs for next year. They need a new goalie. because you're graduating. And it's going to be hard to replace Haley Gorman, who scored 21 goals
Yeah.
and really is a
And
dominant
Craig
offensive
came on
player.
strong too.
Right.
Well, the three of them, the three seniors. Only three seniors, but they were the top, pretty much their top players.
So, but a lot of those younger players will probably get
Oh, they're
bigger
going
and
to be
stronger.
unreal.
So,
I was talking to a
Oh,
couple
yeah,
of the parents
yeah.
yesterday, you know, and they work out all year, and they,
Yeah.
you know what I would love to see? I don't know enough about it, but boy, would it be nice to see a couple of them turn out to be like a Conway.
Yeah.
Conway, I mean, she was,
She
if
was,
you have to
yeah.
Fryer and Kroon, they're that
Yeah.
quick. You got your defense in Conley and Mercer,
Yep.
and then Walsh is going to be, reminds me of another Gorman in a way.
Yep. Yeah.
You know, but
Yeah.
you look at those players and you say, if they keep, the progression keeps going, you know, the sky's the limit. But it was all,
Definitely.
you know, the girls that started with you, Craig and Gorman. You know, all started with you three. They're always going to remember you three girls as the
Yeah.
girls that really started the whole program.
Yeah.
well, thanks for joining us tonight.
Thank you so
And
much.
Thanks
good
for
luck to
coming
you
in.
in all of your hockey and lacrosse endeavors going forward.
Yeah, and win the
Thank you.
lacrosse league this year, too.
Yes. Yes, definitely.
We'll be right back.
This is Chris Eck of the Boston Cannons, and you're watching Let's Talk Sports.
Hey, this is Paul Rabel from the Boston Cannons, and you're watching Let's Talk Sports.
Welcome back. Spring training continues. Jacoby Ellsbury on the shelf for the Yankees already. He's got a little achy calf. Call up Scott Boras, say, Scott, what should I do? Better sit out. Get
want
ready
him.
for that.
He'll be okay. The Yankees are looking pretty good, Ron.
The Yankees pitching staff has done pretty well. They've got the team back healthy. I saw Jeter run down to first without any limp, and he's hitting about 150 for the spring, but that, you know, you can't really make too much of that. He'll
No,
be
he's
there
a
when
leader.
the bell rings.
He's a leader, like Will Falk for the Patriots. He's a leader. But, you know, they're looking good. The pitching staff, Pineda looked good. Nova looked real good yesterday. Tanaka's looked good. Sabathia I haven't seen much of. No, you know,
Kuroda.
So the 5As are looking pretty good.
The biggest question for the Yankees,
Bullpen.
in my opinion, is the bullpen. They have Dave Robertson, pretty good pitcher. I think he'll step in and be successful. And beyond that, I'm not so sure.
Well, they got two former Red Sox players. Is it Thornton, the lefty?
Yeah, Thornton, he's really good.
And Bailey.
Oh, Bailey, yeah,
He's out until September.
So, you know, but the Red Sox have a lot of question marks, and people will say, well, what do you mean they're the World Series champions? Well, first of all, they have center field. Jackie Bradley Jr. comes to camp thinking he's got a pretty good chance to win the job, and he's going to lose to Sizemore unless Sizemore falls apart in the next week.
That's going to be a huge pickup for the Red Sox, Sizemore.
If Sizemore can approach his all-star team form, it would be great. Now, in right field, Victorino's been mostly hurt and missed almost all of spring training. He's got a thumb injury. How bad it is, we don't know, but if he plays 100 games this year or 80 instead of 122, they've got to put somebody else out there. That's probably Nava. That means you have Gomes. As much as Gomes thinks Gomes is great, Gomes is pretty good as a platoon player. Every day, you may not want to see him out there every day.
Yeah, and they got a good bullpen, too.
Yeah,
They have a real good
and as
bullpen.
catcher, I'm not exactly sold on A.J. Przinsky. His biggest quality is being able to get under people's skin, whether it's his own team or the other teams.
How come he's the number one? Everybody hates him on the other teams.
Well, I
Isn't
guess
he rated number one?
I guess when you come up to bat,
Most disliked player in baseball?
when you get up to bat, he knows what your dog's name is and everything else about
But
you.
he'll get some big hits for them.
Yeah, he can hit
I
the
don't know if he'll
pillow.
get as many big hits as Salton Lamarche got last year.
Well, his biggest
People
problem
don't
is he
realize
doesn't
that.
walk. I think he
No, he
walked something
swings.
16 times last
But
year.
Salton Lamarche had a real good year. People are forgetting that.
They should be okay at first with Napoli. Obviously, Pedroia is healthy this year at second. Bogarts will be fine. He's working on his defense this spring.
He'll hit 150, and people will say, what the hell happened?
And then Middlebrooks probably hit 25 home runs and hit 250. I don't know what all the hate is for Middlebrooks.
No, I like Middlebrooks. I mean, I really liked him when he came up. He had that injury last year. The Red Sox kind of gave up on him, sent him to the minors. A guy that the year before was one of their best hitters. He's a 30 home run hitter if he plays all year.
Well, to me, the strength of the team is if they can get to this 6th, 7th inning, they've got Tozawa, Uehara,
Breslow.
Mujica, Breslow, Badenhop.
Miller, I like Miller.
Miller, he doesn't know where the
Miller's
ball's
gonna be
going.
real good,
They
I'll
got a
tell you.
lot of guys who are, throw hard or throw strikes. And, if they can get decent starting pitching, they should be pretty good.
Yeah, that's where they have the advantage over the Yankees in the bullpen. I don't know what the
Well-
Yankees are going to put together. They got that kid Phillips, who I like. You know,
My projection is that the AL East winner will only win 93 games this year. My sleeper pick is the Orioles, but I don't think they have enough pitching. They have great hitting.
Jimenez is going to be a key.
Yeah.
If Jimenez gets back to form, he had a couple of good games last year. It was for Cleveland.
Mm-hmm.
For Cleveland, he pitched towards the end of the year. He pitched pretty good, but he's got some good. He's got stuff. If he gives him if he's a solid pitcher, Tillman's going to be their star
Well,
again.
you could see 3 teams coming out of the AL East, because I don't think the West is that good.
Yeah.
Texas and nobody else.
Like we said last show, it could be the Red Sox could be in fourth. They could win it.
And
The
then-
Yankees, the same thing.
And then Detroit, Jose Iglesias may be out for the year with shin splints. I don't.
I hear they may sign Drew.
Okay, well, good. That takes him off the market.
They're looking for Drew. You know, looking at Drew right now. They've been negotiating with the Detroit and still the Mets, but I don't know what's going to happen there. But I think Drew's getting a big break if Iglesias is out.
Well, Drew and Kendrys Morales, his agent, says that his players will sit out till June if they have to get the money they deserve. You know, we'll
He's
see.
an idiot. He's an idiot.
Well,
Not taking that $14.1 million.
well, Drew did acknowledge that he made a mistake in not taking the $14 million.
Mistake. Are you kidding me? Who do you think he was? Drew, $14.1 million, and he got $9 million last
Well,
year.
and not only that, the facts are that he hit 120 in the postseason in 56 official at-bats, and he hit 196 against left-handers during the season. So he's really a platoon player against left-handers, and he didn't, as great as he was defensively, he didn't hit a lick in the postseason.
But you see a lot of big-time mistakes by professionals in all sports, coaches. You see tons of big-time mistakes because they, for some reason they're pompous. They think that they're in charge. I'm gonna get what I want. I mean, how do you make that mistake? How doesn't he understand? And how doesn't Boris tell Drew, listen, problem we have here is you're turning down $14.1 million. If you sign with another team, they got to give their number 1 draft pick. Are they going to want to give their number 1 draft pick for a guy who's solid shortstop, who's not a good hitter, and give you the money you want? Who's going to do it? So Boris, he thinks he's better than everybody.
Boris puts together these 40-page books that make everybody sound like they're Rogers Hornsby or Babe Ruth. And the reality is, teams aren't stupid. They're not going to disrespect Boris and say, look, we don't care about your stupid book because we see what we see. But they're going to say, we're really not ready to go in that direction at this time, but we'll keep the lines of communications open. We know we value your client. Yeah.
But you see it. I mean, like we talked about, it really aggravated me last year was Miami won the championship, and they shouldn't have won it because of Popovich. He blew it for San Antonio. No other player blew it. He blew it by making that decision to keep Duncan on the bench when Miami had the ball. They missed the shot, him not thinking ahead. If they miss the shot, they're going to get a rebound, and that's when you get a wide open 3 because people are scrambling, and the ball comes right into Bosch's hand. You had 3 San Antonio players jumping with Bosch. Bosch out-jumped them, got the rebound, get it to Allen, and it's history from there. And that's a terrible, terrible coaching mistake, and no one says anything. Just like this Boris. That's a disgrace,
Well,
not taking that money.
If you have a great reputation, you get a pass.
Well, yeah.
That's, I mean,
But don't you see that too in sports and like with Larry Bird? Larry Bird can go in a game and start off 0 for 8. I remember him. And then eventually he's going to get it going. How many players that don't have his reputation can go 0 for 8? They're going to be sitting on the bench.
Absolutely. My prediction for the year for baseball, the least significant factor will be instant replay. Why would I say that? Well, first, during spring training, the first 18 instant replays, there were none overturned. So, and the other thing is a lot of the coaches, at least at this point, don't understand the rules, like when to call for it, what they have to do. But it'll be interesting. I'm sure that Joe Madden in Tampa Bay is already figuring out how to have players lie down on the field hurt with sprained ankles and stuff.
Well, I think that where it's going to be really important is in the home runs. Was it a home run or wasn't it? Did it
Well,
go
that
over the
was
line?
already in place. So,
But the rest of them, I mean, you don't even need it. I'll tell you, the outside corner is the big thing. You know how I feel.
well, it'll be interesting to see who the Red Sox move between now and opening day. I think Levine Way is probably either going to get released or get traded. I don't think there's going to be a big demand for him. He hasn't really hit for
Well,
power.
plus they have those 2 young catchers.
Well, right, they have Vasquez and Butler in the minors that, and then Swihart is going to be at Double-A. So they're pretty solid there for the next couple of years. And then there's a lot of demand for Mike Karp apparently because he had pretty good power statistics.
He's talented.
Yeah, he's.
They won't give him up.
The only
He's
thing
under
about Karp
contract.
is he doesn't like to play in the outfield when there's a lot of bees.
And they got him working at third base too now, right? A little.
Did you see the other day at
They had a
Tampa?
15-minute delay.
Yeah, they had a bee delay because there was a hornet's nest or something out in left field, so Karp couldn't stand being out there.
But I mean, he's talented. He didn't play much, but he's happy being with them. You would think he'd want to play in another team.
Yeah, I would think
And
that,
play
you
more.
know, I mean, he's getting reasonable money. I mean, obviously, I think he's getting around $1.5 million, which isn't too bad to be a baseball player and pull down that kind of change.
But you know, you look at the teams, you look at the Red Sox and Yankees, and you match them up, and it's very, very close now. You know, when you match up both teams, you match up the starting pitching, and again, it should be a
Should
battle.
be interesting. And then the Patriots. You know, we were pretty disappointed early. They didn't do anything. There wasn't any, you know, Wes Welker to kick around anymore. And then all of a sudden, we rebuilt the defense.
How about the last show we had? when we
And
talked
the
about-
happiest guy on the planet is Ralph because he wanted Vince Wilfork gone, and now Wilfork wants to go.
Yeah, and they have, he may sign with them, I heard now, the last thing. He may sign with the Patriots. I think he likes what the Patriots did with the cornerbacks.
When did you hear that?
I heard that yesterday that they've been talking to him. But who cares? I mean, the Patriots' defensive line, people saying that once Wilfork went down, teams were running on them. Well, they lost Mayo, too, in the middle. They lost Kelly, too. They're going to have Kelly back.
Right.
And they have, I like Villano and I like Chris Jones in one of our favorites. Salinga. I like him because I thought he played good at the end of the year. He's almost as big as Wilfork. He was holding up in the middle. And you know how I feel. I think their linebackers are going to be terrific this year. With Mayo, you have Hightower and Collins. Now, both Mayo and Collins can cover the tight ends now.
Right.
And the backs coming out. They're quick enough, especially Collins. And Mayo was always good at that. Hightower came on big time. Now with Revis and Browner.
Yeah, the number
back
one
there.
question they have right now is the interior offensive line.
Why?
Because they don't have a center
Well, Wendell, he didn't sign with anybody yet, did he?
yet. No, not yet. Well, they're running out of money.
Well, what about Conley center?
Well, we'll see.
I mean, you have Conley. If Wendell goes, you have Conley at center, who was a center.
Right.
You have Mankins at left guard. You have Cannon at right guard, Vollmer at right tackle, and Soler at left tackle. And then you got other, they have those other guys who can fit in.
Yeah.
They always fit in.
Yeah, and
Who do you think what do you think's the most important position? I know what it is where they have to get someone good. Tight end.
well, hopefully Gronkowski will be back.
No,
and
but they need another tight end besides Gronkowski. They're saying if they can get there's like 3 real good tight ends coming out of college. If they can get one of them with Gronkowski, and then make Milligan or whatever his name is.
Manawanui.
Yeah.
That's pretty good, huh?
But I mean, now you're strong again at tight end. Receiver's not bad now. They're okay at receiver. Hopefully a couple of the younger guys.
When Brady's going to be able to concentrate on football again, now that he's not going to have to worry about his $50 million mansion in Los Angeles that he's selling.
They said that. I was listening. Someone was talking about that. He sold. What did he have? He had a condo in Boston. He sold. Made
condo
big
in the
money.
Back Bay,
He made
yeah.
big money in that. He had 2 condos in New York that they sold. 2 condos, and they made big money on that. They think he's just flipping them. They think they built that just to flip it because you have Giselle, and you have Brady's name. Because it's under their name, they think they can flip it easier than other people can. So they
Maybe.
want to they put in $40 million, which I don't believe. There's no way you put in $40 million. And they want to make $10 million on the deal. And then they're building a house in Brookline.
Well, I wish I were his tax
the
man.
name.
Certainly working out for him. And then Julian Edelman. I know you were really worried that Edelman was going somewhere else. He's back. His deal is not so front-loaded, but he's probably here for at least 3 years.
Right. He's as talented as anybody. There are receivers that are taller, that can get down the field a little quicker. But you talk about the difference between that. He can play slot. He can be split out. He's quick. He's quicker than, as great as Welker was, he's quicker than Welker. and he's a great punt returner. He's huge for that team.
Well, the key thing is we're back to our quota of Brandons. We got rid of Brandon Spikes. We got rid of Brandon Tate, but we got Brandon Browner at cornerback and Brandon LaFell at wide receiver. So when the Patriots were really good, they had 2 Brandons. So
Well, LaFell's 6'2", so
He's a big guy.
that'll help Brady, with his
Right.
passing.
So that should be a good thing. And they still have the draft coming up, so they should be able to get
Tight end.
a couple of impact players.
Yeah, like you said, your offense, maybe get an offensive lineman, come in, a talented offensive lineman, and a tight end.
Well, we'll see if the biggest loss is Skarnecchia or whether Brian Daboll replaces him.
How's he? What did you hear about him?
I don't know.
What about high school sports, Ron?
Well, what can you say? There
Well-
was a state champion with some Melrose players on it from Arlington Catholic in Division II basketball. They won it for the second time in 4 years. And you have to give credit to Coach Dave Brady, the other Dave Brady, and his staff for developing those Melrose players and winning with Melrose players outside of Melrose.
Yeah, he's 2 out of 4 years. But you know what I look at, Ron? I look at the whole, since we've been watching high school sports. I mean, you look at those powerhouse Melrose teams that had to meet the Lincoln Sudburys and the Batistas, Oliver Ames,
Fontbonne.
Fontbonne, all those and Central Catholic. They had to play Central Catholic back in those years when they were real strong. And then you look at the talent now in Division II, where one of the biggest competitions was a way overrated Watertown team that wasn't good, that won the Middlesex League. That tells you how strong the Middlesex
League was weak on the girls' side this year. We didn't see enough boys' games to really have an opinion on that. But now people are going to say, how do you say that? Well, Reading got knocked out in the first round. Wilmington got knocked out in the first round, a 16-4 team.
Watertown had 1 or 2 losses, and they were way overrated.
Watertown got to the D2 North Finals and scored 9 points in the first half. That's pretty weak.
Watertown got very, very cocky. That's the problem that they had.
Woburn didn't go real far. Wakefield got knocked out in the first round, and Stoneham got knocked out in the first round. So most of the Middlesex teams didn't fare very well for the tournament. Middlesex League's teams were sub 500 in the basketball on the girls' side.
Well, you look at the girls' side. I mean, Division II is real weak. It's been weak for the last 4 or 5 years because there's no more Central Catholic. There's no more Westford Academy. There's no more Lincoln Sudbury.
It's true.
I mean, and they haven't faced a Batista, any star players, and you just see it. I mean, Division II, if you're a real good team, you don't have to be a great team anymore to win the states.
Well, and the Catholic schools are dominating in the top.
But they're not even that strong, Ron.
I know they're not, but in the top 3 divisions, 4 of the 6 teams were Catholic schools. Now, of course, in Central Catholic's team that won from last year, not this year, I believe 6 of the girls were from New Hampshire. So you have a Massachusetts state championship team with half the players from another state.
But what I'm saying is, it's really changed over the years. I'm talking about when Melrose was real strong, and they had to face Central Catholic instead of facing Watertown or Pentucket. They had to face Central Catholic. Or they had to face Lincoln Sudbury instead of facing a Watertown team or, or Wilmington team.
Well, I think people acknowledge that the level of play has gone down some. I'm not sure why.
Well, that's what's happening. All of the strong teams are Division I now that were in Division II. You had a Shea Petty team, those powerhouse teams with your daughters on it, and they're facing all these talented teams like Lincoln Sudbury with Swords. I mean, come on. And those teams are all Division I now. And when they were facing Westford Academy and
even Masco's Division I, Reading's Division I.
Yeah, I mean, and Division II, it's not like it used to be. I don't look at it like, they won it, but they didn't come close to playing the talent that we used to go up against, when we had those strong teams up to the last 3 years. We had to face Batista 3 years ago. I mean, it's the luck of the draw. I mean, you have to play who you're playing, but, to be honest about it, Division II is almost like Division IV now.
Well, we'll be out there working to keep trying to bring improvement and make the teams as competitive as possible. Well, I appreciated being with you tonight. I'm Ron Sen.
And I'm Ralph LaBella, and thank you for watching Let's Talk Sports.